On this episode, I'm going to be showing you some tips and tricks on how you can properly clean your floor joists so you can put that new subflooring nice and even. So make sure you stay tuned. Hey there friends, welcome to Fix This House. If you're new to the channel, consider pressing the subscribe and notification bell so you can always be in tune on DIYs, how-to videos, and product reviews that I do within this channel. If you've been staying tuned to my channel, welcome to my kitchen renovation series. As you can see that we are in the process of removing all the subfloors on this part of the kitchen because they had mold, cracks, they had tile, they had all that thin set and also weak areas. And we didn't want to go through all that removal process, so we might as well just rip out all that subfloor. So unfortunately, after we ripped out all the subfloor, you can see that there's a lot of remnants of the OSB board. And that's what I'm going to be showing you today, how the easiest way to prep and remove all this so that you can have it looking nice and clean, like how I ended up doing these floor joists right there. So the reason why all this residue happens is because the proper way for installing subflooring is you got to put a bead of construction adhesive. So you're probably asking, Jay, why do builders even put the bead of construction adhesive on these floor joists, then put the subflooring down? Doesn't that make it super hard for people who will try to renovate like us? Absolutely, it does make it super hard. But you have to take note that construction adhesive adds stability, also prevents squeaking over time, just makes the construction really nice and solid. So it's a good practice. Love it or hate it. I hate it personally, but the proper way of installing subfloors, you do put a bead here. It's good practice. We're stuck with this. I'll show you some tips and tricks today on how you can remove this and make it smooth again. I ended up prying board for board, pry it off with my huge pry bar, take leverage using these blocks, and then they will pop off one by one. And on the edges, I ended up cutting using a circular saw. So after you rip these out, you're gonna end up with these nails on the floor joist. And just start taking out all these nails one by one. You can see they're rusted. Why are they rusted? Because we had a leak here before and it seeped through the flooring onto the subfloor. And unfortunately, this area ended up getting black mold. As you can see that on the bottom, I do have drop. It's good practice to lay drop underneath where this is going to be falling to. This area we have drywall. Whatever falls here, I can just easily sweep it. Don't mistake this for something you can step on, because if you ended up stopping here, you fall right through the next floor. Spreading between 3 joists so that I can properly step on it like this. If you have insulation like this, you might want to take it out so you don't end up getting it dirty. Given when you start ripping out the subfloor, you're going to get a bunch of these chips going all over, and it's just going to make your life so hard because all those chips are going to get embedded in the insulation. So if you want to try to save it, go ahead. But in my case, I ended up throwing all the insulation here anyways because they were just old, crusty. Some of them had mold already, so I might as well just start fresh. If I'm putting new subfloor, I went through all this trouble, I might as well put the new stuff. And another thing to take note is you want to protect any vent that is under there, any electrical, and any piping. Go ahead and protect it with some sort of cover, piece of plywood maybe to put it on top. Step is you want to try to get as much stuff that are sticking out as possible. This one, if you could get it off with your hands, make sure you wear cut resistant gloves so you don't end up poking yourself, because these do give you splinters for sure. And notice how it's just nicely glued in there by the construction adhesive. Another trick you do is you can use the other end of your hammer, run it on the edge, kind of scrape it out a little bit like that. You have a 6-in-1 tool, scraper tool. You can try to scrape it. The scraper does help, but it will take you a while, especially the construction adhesive is very, very hard. I highly recommend that you use a different tool, which is this one. The tool that helped me out immensely when I started cleaning these floor joists is my oscillating tool. This tool is awesome. It cuts like butter. It chips away all this excess OSB board that's stuck there with the construction adhesive. I'm just using a regular teeth. Now the trick to this is you want to go and start as level as you can. You don't want to do an angle, because if you try to do an angle, this thing will dig deep into your floor joist and you'll just start having craters. You can put a slight angle on it, not too much, so that you can kind of dig into it a little bit. So for example, there's the little thick spot right here with the OSB board. You can go and tilt it up just a little bit. You want to hold your trigger, hold the head. Once you feel that it dug in, and it catches all that debris and that construction adhesive, go and level it out again and start going on a flat, smoother area again. All that heat generates from your oscillating tool melts that construction adhesive, and it just gums up the teeth of your oscillating blade. So once in a while, just go and just take your glove or lay it against your floor joist like this and just follow the contour. There's that bead of that construction adhesive you're just chipping out. Word of caution for you friends, be careful because sometimes you have wire right here, electrical wire, cutting right here, and you accidentally slip, accidentally nick that electrical wire, you'll be in a whole lot of trouble. And plumbing, if you can, or cover it with some sort of protection so that in case you do slip, you don't end up nicking that or any type of PEX pipe or any type of piping whatsoever. Tips: go and cover insulation before doing this job. I wanted to expose this so that I can show you what happens if you do not cover your insulation before you do this job. So if you've gotten this far and you use your oscillating tool, you knocked out most of that OSB remnants and much of the construction adhesive out, then you should be good. You don't have to go through this next step. But that's if you want to. You can go to this next step, but you don't have to. Make sure you clean out the insulation first, check all the wiring if it's okay, plumbing's good, vacuum out all the debris, then you can put the subfloor on. OCD as I am, I want to make this nice and smooth like what I did with the rest of this floor joist around here. I went and used the belt sander. I'm actually using a 40 grit sandpaper on this belt sander. If you don't clean out the construction adhesive, most of it off, you're going to end up with a bunch of that construction adhesive sticking onto your sandpaper right here, gumming it up. We went above and beyond by using that belt sander, but look at the difference. You'll definitely know that you can lay that subfloor nice and flat and even with the rest of the boards. And that's what I ended up doing with the rest of these floor joists. Look how nice and clean that is. Just take your time and you'll end up with great results. And trust me, if you do it right the first time, all those subfloor that you lay down will fit flush, nice, like a puzzle. I have a few more left to do. Probably this side, clean this one up, clean up the sides on that. So there you have it, friends. I just wanted to show you my tips and tricks and how I ended up doing these floor joists and cleaning it up and prepping up for a subfloor. Again, there's many ways of doing this. I just found out that this is the easiest one rather than using a scraper. I've even heard people tell me, hey, use a planer. I don't know if that's working, but if you have any suggestions or if you've done this job before and you found a way to make it, to clean it up easier, prep it easier, let me know in the comment section down below. Go and comment and share with the community. Overall, this is what I use. I just used my oscillating tool, a belt sander. Let me know if you have any other suggestions and leave it in the comment section down below. Again, we're all about learning in this channel. So if you can share your tips and tricks and your ideas, the more the merrier. I'll be making a full video on how I ended up removing this subfloor. I am making a series on this kitchen renovation. I made another YouTube channel. That one is gonna be Mr. Fix This House. Okay, friends? So if you're interested on that, please go and support that new channel that I made. That channel is dedicated to short videos. I don't like to put shorts on this channel because it just makes everything messy. So far, we have over 1,000 subscribers. We have over 1,000 subscribers there now. Thank you so much, friends, for all the love and support. Again, friends, if you found this video super helpful, please hit that big thumbs up, press the subscribe notification bell, and I'll see you friends on the next video.